Star Wars: The Clone Wars began with a 2008 feature film and subsequently spawned a show that ran for 7 fantastic seasons ending in 2020. The series gave us the chance to finally understand what happened between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. But there is much more to this show than what lies on the surface. The series was a maze of planning, well-placed Easter eggs, and cathartic resolutions to many a character's journeys. So hold tight, because I'm Gareth from What Culture Star Wars, and here are 10 mind-blowing facts you didn't know about Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Number 10. The name game. Ahsoka Tano is arguably the breakout star of The Clone Wars, first appearing in the feature film and being expertly fleshed out over the 7-season show. Ahsoka joined canon as Anakin Skywalker's new and unwanted Padawan. Ahsoka was created by George Lucas as a way of adding a new layer to Anakin's story. She represents the true good of the galaxy and is a great character to juxtapose her master's darkening personality. Originally, however, Lucas wanted to call her Ashlar, which he says means light side. Also, it's been revealed that Ashlar is actually a canon character, a Jedi youngling who briefly appears in Attack of the Clones. However, Lucas changed his mind about Ahsoka's name in the end. Number 9. Crossing paths. You might remember in Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi come face to face with General Grievous as they attempt to save Chancellor Palpatine from the evil separatists. Grievous famously calls Anakin out and says, "I thought you'd be taller." It's a throwaway line in a long and epic film, but one that proved to be quite the hurdle for showrunner Dave Filoni when he came to make The Clone Wars. On the show, Anakin is the primary protagonist and Grievous is a major antagonist. But because it would ruin the continuity of the films if the two were to meet on the show, Filoni had to execute a series of narrative backflips to keep the two apart. Every time there's a chance the two will see each other, something steps in to push them away. It's a shame in many respects that the two never cross paths and get a chance to fight on the show, but is of course necessary for the continuity. Plus, in its place, we get Grievous and Obi-Wan's rivalry, which is one of the best in the entire canon. Number 8. Cast connections. Anyone worth their kyber crystals knows who Mark Hamill is. But did you know that he was also in The Clone Wars, playing someone radically different to ultimate good guy Luke Skywalker? Hamill has a voiceover cameo in Season 6, Episode 13, Sacrifice, where he voices ancient Sith Darth Bane, who appears as a ghostly vision to Yoda as he visits the Sith planet of Moraband. Any trace of Luke's voice is lost in Bane, and it gives Hamill the chance to play someone who diverges from his more popular role. Hamill is not the only one who revisits the canon in The Clone Wars, however, as in the 2008 film, Samuel L. Jackson got the chance to reprise his role as Mace Windu. He's replaced for the majority of the show by Terrence Carson, who captures Jackson's voice beautifully, it must be said. But he also makes an appearance in Season 7 thanks to archive footage from Revenge of the Sith. Liam Neeson, meanwhile, gets to reprise his role as Qui-Gon Jinn for several episodes of The Clone Wars, where he appears as a Force ghost. His role is much more significant than both Jackson's and Hamill's, but equally as rewarding for longtime fans. Number 7. Animating dueling. Up until Season 7, The Clone Wars was completely animated, even the lightsaber duels. This isn't a bad thing by a long shot, as many of the fights in the series rival and even surpass those in the films. I know, blasphemy. That being said, the best duel the show has to offer comes in Season 7, Episode 10, between Ahsoka Tano and a revitalized Darth Maul. But did you know that this fight was created mostly through the use of motion capture technology? When watching it back, you realize just how seamless and complex the character's movements actually are. In the scene, professional stunt artist Lauren Mary Kim and Ray Park, who played Maul in both The Phantom Menace and Solo: A Star Wars Story, provide motion capture performances for Ahsoka and Darth Maul respectively. Add their talents to the vocal chops of Ashley Eckstein and Sam Witwer, as well as the stylish animation the series is now known for, and what you're left with is one of the most visually stunning and satisfying moments of the entire series. Number 6. The 501st Legion. In 1997 in South Carolina, Albin Johnson and Tom Cruise founded the 501st Legion, a charitable organization that makes realistic costumes from the original trilogy. Johnson and Cruise started by making stormtrooper costumes and styled themselves the 501st Legion, or Vader's Fist. The name was coined to honor both the films and the real-life heroes of World War II. Their popularity grew at such a rate that even George Lucas joined them at a charity event at one point. Eventually, they became canon in Timothy Zahn's novel Survivor survivor's quest. And the clone unit subsequently appeared in Revenge of the Sith with Darth Vader as he sacks the Jedi Temple. Although not named in the film itself, the battalion of clones was revealed to be the 501st thanks to Lucasfilm's merchandising. Of course, all this eventually led to the 501st Legion becoming a part of the Clone Wars later down the line, serving under Anakin and his Padawan Ahsoka. All of this makes for a very sweet and respectable way of honoring the many fans of Star Wars. But perhaps the best thing about the 501st is that it gave us its superior Captain Rex, who remains one of the show's most popular figures. Number 5. Humanizing the clones. Since we're on the subject of Captain Rex and the clones who give the series its name, let's take a look here at the veteran clone's conception and the work that goes into personalizing the men who all sound and look the same. Rex was originally going to be called Alpha, after a clone called Alpha 17 who appeared in the comics Star Wars Republic. But the name was scrapped because Lucas felt the main cast featured too much alliteration already. Lucas then decided to call him Rex instead, and gave him the job of being the central clone character of the show. Enter D. Bradley Baker, who had the job of voicing the clones. Despite all the troopers effectively being the same person, Baker knew as well as Lucas and showrunner Dave Filoni that the essence of the show was to humanize the clones. Baker thus went to great lengths to differentiate the troopers, recording all their lines separately and adding inflections on key adjectives for each one. Rex was given the most thought due to his large role on the show, and Baker and Filoni even made a clone triangle to help rank the troopers by the importance of their role on the show, which Rex obviously topped. Number 4. Lost episodes and arcs. Despite its popularity on Cartoon Network, The Clone Wars was cancelled midway through Season 6 after being purchased by Disney. Although Disney brought the show back for a 7th and final season on its new streaming service, the season was shortened and many key arcs and storylines were left unresolved. The 2 key arcs have been made into successful and well-reviewed novels and comics, but would likely have been better suited to the show, it must be said. For example, the comics Son of Dathomir detailed a 4-episode arc which would have seen Darth Maul kidnapped and tortured by Darth Sidious following the death of Savage Opress. The whole story would have been epic, pitting Maul against both Dooku and Grievous. That's not the arc we longed for the most, however, as on the show, Asajj Ventress is robbed of the chance to have her story end on a satisfactory high. In an epic 8-episode arc, the former assassin would have sought forgiveness from the Jedi Council and joined forces with eccentric Jedi Quinlan Vos in a bid to kill Count Dooku. These stories would have been an excellent addition to the series and would have added further gravitas to characters we had grown to root for already. Number 3. Radically different pitch. There was actually once a time when Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi were set to be side characters on the show. I know, imagine that. Instead, Dave Filoni wanted the series to revolve around the crew of a ship reminiscent to the iconic Millennium Falcon. On the ship, audiences would have met a smuggler, his girlfriend, a Gungan called Lunka, a Jedi Padawan called Ashla who would go on to become Ahsoka Tano, and her master. A lot of this went on to become the basis of Star Wars Rebels. Filoni's vision was put in place to steer clear of the continuity of the films, as he didn't want to interfere with what had already been put into canon. However, George Lucas eventually joined the project and decided the series would be better if it focused on the characters audiences already knew. On top of that, Filoni later wanted Ahsoka to be Obi-Wan's Padawan. But once more, Lucas saved the day and steered him in a more compelling Skywalker direction. Number 2. Honoring the past. In the early development of the Clone Wars, Lucas said he didn't want certain characters appearing in the film or the series. These primarily included Chewbacca, Jabba the Hutt, Boba Fett, and Han Solo. Although the former 3 were all eventually added to the show, everyone's favourite rebel smuggler never made an appearance. However, that doesn't mean his legacy strayed too far. Captain Rex, for example, bears a small scar on his chin as reference to a similar cut on Solo actor Harrison Ford. Also, in a less direct reference to the famed pilot, a Season 3 arc sees some of our favourites freezing themselves in carbonite. The fact that the carbonite freezing was a success during this dangerous mission gives us insight into how Darth Vader knew it would work on Solo years later. Whether this was direct foreshadowing or not, it nonetheless remains a nice little nod to one of the original trilogy's most iconic moments. Number 1. Familiar soundtracks. Music has always been a unique selling point of the Star Wars films and the Clone Wars. John Williams' masterful and suspenseful score is a pop culture touchstone, and the Clone Wars does well by honouring the maestro's tones. Although Williams himself has not written any music specifically for the show, his most famous numbers still make it into the series. The most prominent examples can be found in Season 7, as the threat of Order 66 begins to loom over the galaxy and the fate of our heroes. For example, as the Siege of Mandalore unfolds, we get the chance to hear the same music music used in the opening of Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin and Obi-Wan are seen racing to save the Chancellor, showing that they are taking place at the same time. But the most compelling use of Williams' work comes when Captain Rex gets the famous order from Darth Sidious. It's a heartbreaking and unfortunately inevitable moment, as Rex turns on his friend and joins his brothers in trying to kill Ahsoka. As Ahsoka holds them off, you can hear Williams' Anakin's Dark Deeds play, the same song used in Revenge when Darth Vader eliminates the Separatist Council. It's a sneaky Easter egg, and easy to miss given the tension of the events unfolding, but once you notice it, it's the kind of thing that makes you both smile and feel a sudden pang of nostalgia. And that's our list. Know of any other mind-blowing facts fans didn't know about Star Wars: The Clone Wars? Let me know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're at it. Also, make sure to head on over to whatculture.com and find some more incredible articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Star Wars. Thank you very much for watching this video today. May the Force be with you, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.